Hello everybody, Dokkan Assets here. Today we are back with another bi-weekly Dragon Ball figure news video where we cover all of the Dragon Ball figure news from the past 2 weeks. Of course, we last time covered the Gohan Beast Ichiban Kuji and the kind of expensive prices that we had to indulge into with that one. And today we are not only going to be taking a look at some more expensive figures, but we're going to be taking a look at more Gohan Beast stuff. Obviously, I did make a video on one of those specifically pieces of news that we got this week already, but obviously I will be including in this video just briefly. So let's go ahead and hop in, of course, as per usual, starting off on dbzfigures.com. We're taking a look at ya boy third form Frieza to start us off, the SH Figuarts third form Frieza. My man is now available from Big Bad Toy Store for $134.99. If you would like to cop this man, I believe he is also available at, well, we'll look at, I guess this will just be the way that we get there. I believe he is also available at Premium Bandai, if I'm not mistaken. However, funny enough, oh, there he is, yeah. So you can get him from Premium Bandai actually for a lot cheaper. Obviously, Big Bad Toy Store has it so that, you know, they make a profit on the figure, because if they buy a bunch of stock of it, you know, they have to be able to make money on it somehow. But if you want to pre-order it from the official site, you can. Obviously, this guy, you know, just being basically released for pre-orders on the 26th is pretty cool. He is, I believe, let's read the information here. Yeah, this is exciting news. A new form for Frieza SH Figuarts just announced a figure. Yeah, $85. Yeah, with shipping it'll be close to 100 for sure. It is kind of unfortunate that you know, the shipping on Premium Bandai is always so expensive. I'm not exactly sure why, but nonetheless, this figure does look pretty good. He looks very awkward, but I think that's more due to his form, because obviously this form for Frieza is always a little bit wacky. Let's see what we got in the specialty images here. We have the SH Figuarts third form Frieza is now available. Wow, he can actually cross his arms, and I don't even think that's another accessory. I think they just crossed his arms naturally. That's pretty cool. Accessories include the two replacement facial expression parts of a shouting face, a smiling face, and a face with a evil grin. A dedicated, am I reading that right? That doesn't seem like the correct word to use there, but okay. A dedicated replacement head part that also reproduces the eye opening is included. Interesting. So it sounds like you get two different head pieces, but that doesn't really makes sense. Why would they give you another one? Interesting. Includes 3 replacement wrist parts for each left and right hand. Also included are parts to recreate impressive attack scenes. And of course, the Namekian Dragon Ball's Luminous version. 6-star balls also included. Yeah, so if you have been collecting this set, obviously a lot of these Namek characters come with the Dragon Balls. The idea is that you collect all of these, and then you get all the Dragon Balls. Kind of ridiculous that you're collecting something this expensive just to get the little Dragon Ball accessory, but I digress. And as you can see here, this guy is actually the final character in the full set. Here we have all 7 Dragon Balls now present, with Armored Krillin, Armored Gohan, we have Zarbon and Dodoria, and of course we have 2 of Frieza's other forms, that being second and final form Frieza. Now finally rounding out the bunch. It's kind of interesting because the first round of Namek figures, which was a bunch of the Ginyu Force included in there, I believe had the regular Dragon Balls, but this is like the luminous version, so it's like the, you know, if you shine a light through it, it'll like kind of glow sort of thing. But cool that we finally have all of these characters. I know that the Namek Saga was something that was highly underrepresented when it came to, I mean, figures in general, but also SH Figuarts specifically, because obviously SH Figuarts, I don't know if they've ever said it anywhere, but seemingly from the way that they release their products, it's just their goal to make a figure of every single form and character from the Dragon Ball franchise that's even vaguely popular, right? So it's cool to see that now there is an option for all of these different characters. Let's take a look at the minor details here. Obviously, we kind of read all of this. But also we'll use... Okay, so what's more? SH Figure Arts, Doria, Zarbon, Gohan Battle Uniform, Krillin Battle Uniform, Frieza's second form also separately, have the Namekian Dragon Balls also included. So he has the main body, the exchangeable left hand, 3 types, and right hand, 3 types. Exchangeable expression parts, 2. Obviously, that doesn't include the one that comes on there. Okay, so there is a second head. Interesting. Exchangeable head parts, 1. Effect parts, arm folded parts. Okay, so that is a different piece. And, of course, the Dragon Ball. Very interesting. He's approximately 5.9 inches tall. Very interesting. So... where is the second headpiece? I'm not really sure. I don't really like see in these images, because usually when it comes to figure accessories, I'm pretty good about spotting it. But I think maybe it's because the way that they did this guy, if I'm understanding this correctly, it's because the bottom part, I think the eyes may be connected to the head, and you change out the mouth, I'm pretty sure. So they give you 2 different sets of eyes, which are attached to the head, so they give you 2 separate heads. I'm a bit confused on this one. If you want to let me know in the comments section, because there's nothing else besides what's on here. I don't know, very interesting. But nonetheless, though, if you want to cop this guy, definitely head over to Premium Bandai to get him for $85. I know for me personally, I'm probably not going to get him. This is a figure that I would definitely like to get in the future, but it's just not something that's on the list of something that I want really right now, you know what I mean? Okay, so this is something else that I wanted to bring up real quick. This has technically nothing to do with figures, however, it might, because in the years past, for the Dragon Ball Battle Hour, which usually happens around this time of year, they have a event where obviously this time around they're doing a bunch of actual like tournaments and stuff like that. They also have a Battle Hour thing that's like a bunch of different like just announcements and stuff like that for different games. However, in the years past, they have actually had, let's actually just Google this, Dragon Ball Games Battle Hour 2023. Usually they have some kind of figure available, because they usually have like a merch tab for this. Special gifts for attendees, special stays. It doesn't look like there's a merch tab at the moment, but I would just keep your eyes peeled on Twitter and whatnot, because a lot of the time they will have like an official merch booth. Like, yeah, you can see that this is obviously, if you attend the event, you get all of this stuff. But a lot of the time they'll have exclusive items, because if we take a look back at 2022, they actually had, let's see, Van Presto, SH Figure Arts, here we go. Oh no, this is just the action and photography thing. This isn't actually the merch page, because I remember that being kind of confusing. Maybe they don't actually have it on the website anymore, but regardless, oh, merch, there it is. They had Android 21 as a official SH Figure Arts exclusive Dragon Ball Battle Hour figure. You could only get her if you bought her through the Battle Hour website during the limited time. And then the year before, previously, the figure was the Goku. Interesting that they like really changed this a ton every single year, because it looks like so much different. I'm glad they called it merch instead of official goods. Oh look, you can't even look back at it. Well, either way, it was the Fighters like evil Goku. If you've ever played Fighters, there's like the clone Z Fighters. That's basically what it was. It was just a clone version of Goku, but it was exclusive to the website. So the point of the matter is, when it comes to Dragon Ball Battle Hour, keep your eyes peeled just to see if they announce any specific figure that is going to be exclusive. Of course, if they do, I will cover it on this series, so you don't have to worry about that. But definitely keep your eyes peeled, because I know in the past they have absolutely, you know, just came out of the blue and been like, hey, here's an exclusive figure. And obviously, you know, depending on the years, right? Clone Goku isn't as exciting because it's just a repaint of the normal Goku. But obviously, Android 21, the lab code version, is kind of like, you know, that one's sort of something that you would probably want to know about if you were interested in it. So, just want to make sure I'm getting that out there. For the Dragon Ball Weekly News for January the 30th, they talked about a couple of different things, but they also, in terms of figures, went over Dragon Ball Adverge 16 with characters from Super Hero. Obviously, they did talk about, you know, these guys, because of course this is the newest like superhero Adverge thing, and we've talked about this set a couple of different times now on the series. But just a reminder, if you do want to pre-order it, Big Bad Torso does have it, but it is quite expensive, so definitely keep that in mind. But nothing else too crazy in terms of the actual figures that they featured for the Dragon Ball Weekly News. This was something that we talked about in its entirety in its own video. Are we really gonna have to go back to Premium Bandai? I guess we're going back to Premium Bandai. Frieza, come here, brother. So, we will just go over this briefly, because we did do an entire half-an-hour video on this when the information dropped. I will, of course, have that on the end cards at the end of this video if you want to check that out, or you could just go back and literally be the video uploaded previously on this channel. Basically, you can pre-order this guy right now, and with the special deal going on, you can also get free shipping on him, which is crazy because they never do this for any figure, so it's nice that they're doing it for him, even though he is definitely a little bit pricey, considering that this is basically just the normal Gohan body with a little bit of battle damage and the different hairpiece, right? $65 is definitely a little bit of an ask, but I know for a fact that, obviously, I mean, I bought it, you know, no shame in saying that. I know a lot of people bought it because, of course, it's Gohan Beast, and it's like the only reasonable Gohan Beast figure that we're going to get basically in the upcoming year, maybe besides the prize figure one. But if you do want to pre-order this guy, he is available on Premium Bandai. Keep in mind, it is limited pre-orders for this guy. So, I don't think this was on here, though, when we looked at it in the video last time. That's pretty cool. Keep in mind, with this guy, they only have pre-orders open until they run out of pre-orders. They literally said that once they're out of pre-orders for this guy, they are not going to be shipping out any more of them. So definitely pre-order this guy right now if you would like to get your pre-order in, and if you would like to cop this guy, because I'm sure he'll be super expensive later on. And as well, besides the fact that if you pre-order him now, basically until they run out of pre-orders, right, you get free shipping. If you pre-order him now, you will also get free shipping on the SH Figuarts Orange Piccolo, which will be available to pre-order on March 2nd. So if you want to get free shipping on that bad boy as well, definitely pre-order the boy Gohan Beast during the limited time run. And as you can see, Piccolo actually has an end date, or no, I'm sorry, this is the offer end date for the free shipping on Orange Piccolo. It's kind of interesting that they have that too, which is, you know, weird considering that for Gohan himself, it's literally just like whenever it ends, but for Orange Piccolo, they have a specific date. So I think that's kind of interesting. By the way, this was something else I just wanted to point out real quick in this video too. Again, if you want to check out all of this content in more detail, I'm just not going over it here because that video talking about all of this specifically was a half an hour long. So this video would have an extra half an hour tacked onto it if I talked about everything that, you know, we, you know, could look at in these 2 pages. But I gave you just a basic overview here. Nonetheless, though, they do have this special content page at the bottom here on this page talking about the special offer for the free shipping on this guy. What this is, I actually have no idea. I've seen nobody else talk about this, so I don't know if this is going to be something related to, because this is supposed to be for the SH Figuarts 15th anniversary, as you can see right here. So I don't know if it's something related to that or if it's something related specifically to Dragon Ball Superhero. That would be cool if this is going to be more superhero figures, because obviously, you know, your boy is going to be copying every single superhero figure that is available. You know, I'm literally going to get them all in terms of the SH Figure Arts figures because I love this movie. So if this is like Cell Max and Magenta and Carmine, your boy will be eating. But anyway, moving past the boy Gohan Beast, definitely pre-order him if you would like to. This was something interesting. Apparently, in LA, there's going to be a Gashapon pop-up store in Little Tokyo, which is pretty cool. Very, very interesting, at Anime Jungle, which is pretty cool. It will start the day this was posted, which is the 1st through August. So if you live in California, definitely go check that out for sure. And apparently, the official site also includes pictures of the new Dragon Ball projects as part of their Gashapon line, and no word if these will be available in LA, but it would be cool if they were. Yeah, so obviously, these are the Dragon Ball item line. I forget the specific name of it, but we talked about it in a couple of different Dragon Ball figure news videos. So that would be really cool. So if you're in LA, definitely go check it out. I might actually have my homie who lives in California. He actually goes to LA pretty frequently. I might have him hit this up to see if he can't check it out for me and maybe get some pictures I could include in a future video. But yeah, if you live in LA, very cool. And it's also just nice to see as well them bringing more stuff from Japan over to the States, even if it is this just little exclusive thing like this. Alright, so this was a pretty interesting drop. We have the Dragon Ball Arise Nail and Elder Mori. If you are unaware, Dragon Ball Arise is basically a figure line. It is an officially sanctioned figure line from Dragon Ball itself, but it is from a company that basically does like hype beast type of stuff. And the reason why I mention that every single time I talk about Dragon Ball Arise is because the prices of these are pretty expensive, as you can see here. Wow, they're already sold out. I actually can't believe that. We have the $424 two-pack for these. I do not know who would be willing to spend that much money on... I hate to say it, because I like both of these characters, but $424 on Nail and Elder Mori. There is also the special color version, which is also sold out. You can see that for Nail, it is definitely a lot different than it is for Mori. But I believe this is basically just like the special color version. I think is more akin to the manga colors, because typically the Namekians are depicted with the yellow. I don't even know what those things are technically called on their body, but like the little color patches, right, that they have. Those are usually yellow in the manga, and then the anime usually depicts them as pink, with like kind of the older Namekians having them as yellow and the younger ones having them as pink. But obviously in the manga, they all just kind of share that color scheme. Yeah, Plex is the company that makes the Dragon Ball Arise line. Funny enough, there's not a lot of Dragon Ball things here. No, actually, there is. Here we go. You can see here that a lot of their figures are super expensive, right? A lot of these guys are really expensive, even for, you know, these like chibi figures like this. A lot of their stuff is just really overpriced for the quality and for the size, because it's, you know, a company that makes hypebeast stuff, so they just charge a lot of money for it. Nail is about a foot tall at 11.81 inches, and Mori is about 7.8, and they're both made from PVC. That's what I'm saying. These figures aren't bigger than your normal like Banpresto or Ichiban Kuji figure, and they cost this much money. It's kind of ridiculous. You're paying almost half a grand for these two. Kind of wild, if I'm being honest with you. But anyway, moving on from them, we did actually get the new round of prize figures announced for July, and we will take a look at these guys in more detail in a moment when we look at Baggy Saiyan's Twitter here. But if you would like to cop any of these guys, and again, we will take a look at all of the angles in just a moment, you can get them from Big Bad Toy Store. All of them cost the new modern day prize figure cost of $26.99. We have the Clear Eyes Saiyan Trunks. We have the Solid Edgeworks 12 Gohan A and B version, and we have a GX Materia Goku. I'm going to save my thoughts for these guys once we get to the detailed images of them, so don't you worry about that. By the way, this is the end of our journey on DBZFigures.com. Dokkan.com. Definitely go check them out. Link in the description. Not sponsored or anything like that. It's just a good website. Anyway, moving on to Baggy Saiyans Twitter. I talked about this in the last video, but if you haven't watched this series for a little while, Baggy has actually locked his Twitter. So unfortunately, that means that when I would normally copy these links and put them in a new tab for you so we could just click the tabs one by one, we have to go back to the old method, which is basically just scrolling through his Twitter. However, in post editing, I will edit out all of the bits that I'm scrolling through for you so you don't have to just sit here while I'm twiddling my thumbs. But the first thing that we have for today is that the week of January 22nd, these guys actually released, which is pretty cool. So finally, we have these base form versions out, and we will have to wait until March for Goku to release. I think for me personally, I've talked about this a couple times in the past. I definitely want to cop the base form Goku or base form Gohan rather, and the Super Saiyan Goku. I think that all of these figures are pretty good. I have seen the Super Saiyan Gohan. He didn't turn out as well as I kind of hoped, to be honest. But I feel like in terms of having this be like from the scene, it would be cool to have Super Saiyan Goku and base form Gohan, because obviously he unlocks Super Saiyan much later. And I like the detail that they actually did give him the short hair, because obviously, you know, as soon as he gets Super Saiyan, Goku's like, yeah, we need to give you a haircut, dog. So that is pretty cool, if I do say so myself, because the only time he has long hair when he's Super Saiyan is literally like the first power up. So yeah, definitely excited to get these guys. I will definitely be doing a video on them on the channel for sure. All right, so we did get a quick in-person picture here of the Power Awakened version of the DXF Piccolo. And I gotta be honest, bro, oh man, this figure does not look good. I know this is not a full shot of the entire thing, but man, this guy... Listen, I don't want to do the meme, but this guy stinks! Unfortunately, it looks like this figure did not turn out so good, which is a bit of a shame, because I know the DXF superhero figures was something that people were really looking forward to. And the quality on this guy just absolutely does not look great. From his shoulders here, you can see there's a bunch of nicks all over here, right? You can see the glue that's holding him together. The paint on his face does not look that great. And not to mention, you can see the eyes are kind of bleeding over onto the eyebrows in terms of the paint. He has a little freckle there, which is obviously just like a little speck, little defect. The antennas are pointing two different ways, which is definitely not correct. And the paint job in and of itself looks just kind of cheap, if I'm being honest with you. So kind of a shame, to be honest, because not only has Superhero been treated really bad in the figure department, this is also the only figure of the Power Awakened state. Granted, obviously everybody is excited about Orange Piccolo more so than this form, but it would still be cool to get one figure of this. I'm really hoping that SH Figuarts does something about it and they come out with their own version. I don't know if they'll just recolor the regular SH Figuarts Piccolo. I honestly wouldn't be surprised, but it would still be nice to get one good figure of this form. And unfortunately, it kind of seems like that this figure is not it, so I am glad that I ended up getting the base form version of Piccolo for this one. I know that there is another post up here. That was just somebody posting about their Broly figure, a cool picture of it. Here we go. Should be getting the GX Materia Piccolo's Japanese release date soon. Originally scheduled for the second week of February, so it should be a few weeks away. Not sure who's going to get the DXF this month. Yeah, well, this bad boy is around the corner. And the date was officially confirmed for February 9th. So, for the next figure news video, we should actually get to see some in-hand pictures of this guy from people who are purchasing him themselves. So that will be pretty cool to see as well. This was a pretty interesting tweet. The boy Joe, if you are unaware, is the individual who has been sculpting a ton of the recent Dragon Ball prize figures. And if we hit this with a good old Google Translate here, scheduled to appear in February 2023, I made the prototype of the Dragon Ball Super Superhero Matchmaker Son Goku. In order to follow the design of Superhero, we made the shoes with rounded ends. Thank you. So, very cool to see that he designed the boy Goku. I'm assuming he also designed Vegeta here too, but I think it's just Google Translate being funny. But yeah, very, very cool. And obviously you can see as well that Joe talks about here that this was based... Is this going to put in a new tab? Well, all right, I guess we're going here. The illustration was used as reference as an illustration. It's also used for goods for the movie. Yeah, so basically he based the figures poses off of these illustrations for the film, which was pretty cool. And obviously what everybody was kind of thinking about. And we got one more thing here. Let's see. This is Riku, who I'm working with. Oh, okay, so this must be another figure sculptor. Interesting. Well, we'll have to give him a follow then, since he is going to be... thank you for all your support. Hey, my man! Since he's also going to be working on figures. Very, very cool. So let's see, what did Baggy have to say about this? So it's it's Joe X. I think that's how you say his name. Is that not Riku? I would think it would be. Doing all the DB prize figures that aren't GX materia. I was beginning to think that's way too much for just one person to be doing. Yeah, okay. So I guess Riku must be doing Vegeta, and then Joe did Goku. That's kind of what it seems like. Very cool. It's always interesting to learn about the people who sculpt these figures, because obviously I feel like that's something that's so, like, not only kind of undermined, but... Hydrate or dihydrate, by the way. That's always kind of like overlooked, or I feel like they don't get enough credit for that sort of thing. And on top of all that, man, the Van Preston World Figure Coliseum used to do that all the time, where they would go over the sculptors. Anyway, on to our next post. All right, so we have our final piece of info for those of us who are going to be importing these figures from Japan. Gohan and Piccolo's packaging will be a big box size, and Cell Max will be a really big box size. However, Boo will be a small to medium size. So basically for Gohan and Piccolo, it'll be about the standard-ish kind of size, right? Not the smaller one. And Cell Max will probably be maybe more like the King Cluster Broly size, if I'm guessing. So it'll be interesting to see when we get the actual pictures of those. But as you can see from Baggy's guess here, it'll be similar to these, except he's going to predict that Boo's box will be a little bit bigger than Frieza's. So yeah, as you can see here, right, like with Cell, it'll be about that for the... Obviously, this is the last one prize Cell, but, you know, this is just for the sake of the box size, right? Kind of the normal size Ichiban Kuji boxes for them, and then the big boy box for Cell Max. So that'll be interesting to see how they also look on the boxes, too. Okay, so this is also interesting. The EX Frieza Kuji, we have the images of the smaller prizes here. Obviously, we saw these Dragon Archives figures before, but these are the G prizes for the towels. Yeah, I gotta be honest with Baggy. These are pretty lazy, and they've also done the... this particular flag here in a bunch of different colors like so many times. This text literally just says Dragon Ball. Some of these are kind of cool, but honestly, this almost looks like... Some of these kind of give me like Hype Beast vibes. I know that's such a weird thing to say, but that's kind of what this gives me. I don't know. I will say, though, I do really like this Ginyu and Goku towel here. That one is pretty sick. I'm not going to lie. I kind of really like that one. And then we have the clear files, which is basically a bunch of redrawings of some original Toriyama art. I don't know why they don't just use the original and why they like waste their time remaking it. It doesn't really make any sense to me. But, I mean, if you want this original art, there's definitely better ways to get it than the clear files for sure. Anyway, moving on from that, we do have some pictures of the boy base form Goku. And hot dog, this figure looks good. Holy cow, ladies and gentlemen. Look at my man. Look at him. Here is the base form Gohan as well. You can see they have them both facing off here. I think Gohan does look a little bit weird, but I think that's just kind of because his pose and his neck is a little bit strange. But as you can see, here is another post of it. I think Gohan looks a lot better from this angle for sure. This definitely looks pretty cool. I'm actually pretty excited about these guys. Ooh, that does look like a little bit of a scratch on the neck there. Also, why does the like face marks look so like over exaggerated? That's kind of interesting. I think base Goku though looks really good, if I do say so myself. Like, I love the rounded eyes. I feel like a lot of the time sometimes figures forget that his eyes are a lot more round in the base form like version of the character, so it's really cool to see that. Yeah, definitely this guy looks good. I'm pretty excited about this guy. Maybe I will get the base form version too, seeing this as well. I don't know. But definitely going to keep an eye out for those for sure. Here is the promotional poster for both of those figures. We have the February Dragon Ball prize figure Geo Go store numbers. Piccolo absolutely crushing the game with 57 compared to Goku and Vegeta having 18, and it is no surprise that the matchmakers is so low. Obviously, literally a filler scene in the movie. It's kind of weird that they decided to make figures for it at all. I really hope that these are the only two Goku and Vegeta figures from the superhero movie, besides, like, obviously that stage figure arts one, but, like, that's kind of different. Because, man, just make more Gohan and Piccolo, please. Here is the Meikuji packaging estimated sizes for all of the different figures. Obviously, it makes sense that Piccolo will be just a little bit bigger than Gohan because, of course, obviously, you know, he's taller, and, of course, Orange Piccolo is bigger anyway. This is something interesting that I wanted to include in here. Amazon US has already reduced the Imperfect Cell Ichiban Show pre-orders by $4 to $66, rather than having him at the $70 price tag. This is actually really good news because obviously we've talked about this many a times on this channel, and I've even done specific videos on it before or maybe I wanted to plan to do that video. I actually don't remember. I have to go back and look if one of the videos I did discussed it. I think I definitely did a little bit, but regardless, I talk about all of the time that these Ichiban Kuji figures used to cost like $35, and then they raised them to $36 for the normal figures, and the super big ones like the King Cluster figures would be $50, and now all of them are just absolutely obscene prices, right? They don't even have any rhyme or reason. They're basically just like they stick a price tag that they feel like sticking on it. So it is good to see that they have reduced the price on this, because what that means is that it's too expensive, so people aren't buying it, right? Which is obviously a really good thing, because I don't know if we'll ever get back to the prices of how the figures used to be. But if we could get even close to how they were back then, and just in general having these be more affordable, that would be absolutely fantastic. So definitely, if you are going to get these figures, I would highly recommend buying them from importing, right? Rather than buying them from Amazon US or something like that. I really need to make that importing video, huh? I feel like every time I do a figure news video, I talk about the importing video and how I need to make it. I need to just sit down and do it at some point. Coming soon-ish. Also, a unfortunate quick reminder that there are no 8th anniversary prize figures on the calendar for Dokkan Battle. Plus, right, there were none of the images that we usually see that were blanked out, right? However, there may be some Figure Art Zero revealed like last year, but Baggy kind of doubts it. Last year's Figure Art Zero Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta didn't even meet the first reservation, and the Super Saiyan God prize figures were the lowest ordered for Dokkan, so they doubt that they'll see anything, but obviously there could be wrong. And unfortunately, during this live stream, we obviously didn't see any figures revealed for Dokkan Battle, so it seems like, as unfortunate as it is, the 7th anniversary figures are the end of the Dokkan Battle anniversary figures. Alright, so let's talk about these figures now. First of all, before we get to these two dinguses right here, and I'll tell you why in a minute if you're unfamiliar why these guys are not good, because the figures look okay. First of all, let's talk about the other two. Trunks actually looks really good, I'm not gonna lie. We'll take a look at more angles in a moment here, but of course this is from the Clear Eyes line, and I gotta say, I feel like the Clear Eyes line has just been getting better over time. I don't know what happened in the beginning. This line was really not that great, but I feel like they kind of found their footing, and they've finally been pumping out some really good stuff. Honestly, this guy looks good. I also may consider getting this figure, to be honest with you. Obviously, any Saiyan armor figure is always appreciated. Definitely going to be keeping an eye out for this guy. It looks great. The hair sculpt looks perfect. The face looks good. The only thing that's a little bit weird to me is the knees, but I think I can kind of overlook that because I think the figure looks good otherwise. And of course, the boy feet Kamehameha Goku, bro. That is pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, the GX material line does not disappoint. This is a absolutely fantastic figure. And I never thought we would get a figure of this scene, but man, this is super sick. I'm not gonna lie. This is really, really cool. I am definitely looking forward to this. You guys know that I am a huge fan of the GX material line, so seeing this as a figure is awesome. And not to mention something from Dragon Ball is always appreciated. Man, I'm really excited for this one. He looks great too. Like, this literally has that Roger Rabbit effect where it literally looks like it's just ripped right out of the anime screen. Now, if you're wondering why I'm kind of saving these guys for the last, and I did talk about this a little bit at the end of the Gohan Beast video, they look okay, right? They look good. But the problem with these is that, unfortunately, they have literally just reused the exact same body, the exact same body sculpt, right? Obviously, they changed up the gi a little bit, and the same head sculpt as the previous Solid Edgeworks Super Saiyan 1 and Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. This is really unfortunate because, as you can see in the comments here, Baggy says that they've apparently never released, like, a figure for this particular movie Gohan. 30 years is how long we've been waiting, which is kind of insane. And for the first one for the movie, we get a stinky reuse of the first Solid Edgeworks Gohan that we have here. Or I guess I should say the Cell Saga Solid Edgeworks Gohan. This is really unfortunate. This is just super lazy, to be honest with you. I know for some people, they may think that this really isn't that big of a deal. And I can understand. But at the same time, not only is it just super disappointing, because it's like, well, this is basically just the same figure again. And to be honest, like, personally for me, I have so many figures of Gohan in this gi already that I definitely don't need any more. And so I would rather just get this figure. But what I would rather have is an actual figure that's like an original thing from the movie, right? Obviously, he does take this pose when he's walking forward in Super Saiyan 2, right? But I would rather have them do any of the other shots from the movie, since they've already made a Gohan figure in this exact same pose. And this is the type of thing where you kind of get the feeling like they somehow could have made this, you know, the same figure if they were just going to do the same head, right? Or, I don't know, just make something original. Please, Bandai. It's just a really unfortunate circumstance, because what this is it's not them being like, you know, it's basically just being anti-consumer friendly. They're being as lazy as possible by using what they already have and just selling it to you again with a different skin, right? It's basically that in a video game where they sell you the same character with a slightly different skin for full price, right? That's essentially what's going on here, right? It's like if for the new Fortnite skins, right, they made you pay for, you know, the different forms of Piccolo. Like, he has the base form Piccolo and he has the Power Awakened form. It's like if both of those costed $20, right? It's essentially the same thing. They're both Piccolo, but it's just, you know, a different color, essentially. So, yeah. Very unfortunate to see with these. As you can see here, my man also in the comment section is pretty disappointed. I know a lot of people are saying that, you know, they're pretty disappointed about this. Very, very unfortunate to see, to be honest with you. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a very unfortunate circumstance that we're in here. Yeah, I feel you, Baggy. I feel you on that one. But yeah, I don't know. Just a very unfortunate circumstance. And something else that's interesting to note is that the final point on this is the original Staj Edgeworks Gohan. They charged 28,000. I can't read. I'm a Dragon Ball fan. 28,800 yen per case. Keep in mind, this is like how much they're charging companies to buy the figures from them, right? This isn't like anything that you would pay. I mean, I guess unless you're buying a full case of them for some reason. But obviously, this is like for, you know, the Crane Game arcades to pick this figure up and then have it in their store. It would be 28,000 yen per case. And for this new figure, they're going to be charging 36,000 yen per case, which is a 7,200 increase. Yeah. Wow. That is pretty insane, if you ask me. That is pretty crazy. And it's also insane considering the fact that in recent time, a lot of Dragon Ball figures have been not doing as well in terms of the Japanese market, in terms of like a lot of the arcades picking them up to have in the crane machines. Because, you know, obviously other anime are popping right now. And with all the shenanigans that Bandai is pulling, people just aren't buying them as much. So also doing this decision from that perspective is so strange to me. Oh yeah, and need I mention the fact that they also took away the shading off of the figure. As you can see here, first of all, wait a minute. Is that like a hair on the figure? Do you see that line right there traveling on the image? Is that on my computer or is that... No, I think that's actually on the image. No, that's definitely on the image. That's so weird. Maybe that's just like a weird line that's on there. Anyway, though, yeah, you can see that the shading that is on this figure, right, like the kind of shadows that are here, of course there's some shadows, but you can see these darker painted details, right, where they make the skin a little bit darker to have the shading, right, on the figure. They basically took all of that away. You can see it a lot here on the arms, right? You can see that in the crevices of Gohan's muscles, there's a lot of this shading detail that's painted in there. And on this guy, it is just literally non-existent, right? There's just no shading there. Obviously here you can't see it because it's covered up by the gi, but, right, you can see a little bit in his neck. There's just not as much there. And of course on the face, there's definitely not as much. But I think the arms is the really obvious place, especially this arm, right? You can see that there is just basically no shading detail. And they also took away the fruit punch. It's literally just like a mark now rather than looking like it's actually dripping down his face. Yeah. Very unfortunate, to be honest. The paint job, to me, honestly kind of looks the same. I think it may just be the lighting that's making the hair color a little bit different. It does look a little bit more blocky, though, I will say. Like, it looks like the creases in the lines are a little bit more crisp on this guy rather than on this one. Man. Next up, the calendar update will be tomorrow, which in this case, for this tweet, will be February 1st, rather, excuse me. Ahead of the prize fair in a few weeks with the July through September schedules. So, it will be cool to see what we get upcoming. Obviously, as well, you know that Baggy and I are excited for more GX materia because, of course, this is the line that's sort of carrying Dragon Ball right now. So, hopefully we see some good stuff out of that. And as for the prize fair, we are basically expecting the July stuff to be shown off and the August and September stuff to be photo banned. Unfortunately, the prize fair used to not have that stuff photo banned and we would be able to see these figures long in advance. But in the modern day, they are photo banned, so we probably won't be seeing any pictures of them. As well, we have some February BSP initial store numbers. Piccolo, 477. And what was I going to say there? Holy cow. Matchmakers, Vegeta and Goku, 324. You can see, by the way, absolutely blown out of the water by the My Hero figures. Kimitsu orders have been completely dropped now, lower than Dragon Ball. Not surprising since they're being lazy with them, yeah. Piccolo does have a pretty decent number, though, I will say. He is kind of coming up to sort of the tail end of the lower My Hero figures there, but still, you can see the difference in the popularity here, and also, you know, Bandai's laziness also coming in clutch. In hindsight, it should have been obvious that the movie 9 of Gohan was going to be reused, as both he and Trunks were originally scheduled in the same month. Usually on top of things like that, but for some reason I just let the excitement take over. Yeah, unfortunate. I mean, I wasn't really thinking about it either, to be honest with you. And to be fair, when it comes to Solid Edgeworks, they do kind of tend to reuse figures, so yeah, very unfortunate, honestly. Alrighty, we have the multi-angles for the GX Materia Goku here. As you can see, my man looks absolutely fantastic. This angle has a little bit of a shadow on it, and boy, oh boy, does that look good, if I do say so myself. You can see Goku's head looks to be an extra piece because there's that little bit of the line on the neck. But man, these look really good. I think this guy is sculpted fantastically. I'm really excited to get my hands on this. Y'all know that I love this line. I've said it a million times in this video. Definitely a very, very nice looking figure for sure. It's going to be interesting to see how the stand works on this guy as well, all things considered, because obviously the stand is, you know, edited out here for the sake of it. Maybe they'll put it right there at like the bottom of the Kamehameha effect, and then they'll actually have him just stand freehand on the Kamehameha. I don't know. That's going to be interesting to see how that actually looks. And we do have the multi-angles of the other figures as well. Here is the Clear Rise Trunks from a bunch of different ones. Yeah, he looks good. I would say for this one, the hair sculpt is absolutely fantastic when it comes to Trunks. I really, really like this a lot, actually. I think if we go here, we could actually get a little bit of zoomed in images of it. Yeah. This guy actually looks great. Like, I'm shocked, honestly. And they even got his buzz cut on the back. They got the detail. I really hope this guy turns out good, because this figure definitely looks good from these initial images here. Definitely hoping for that. I mean, we'll go over it, even though I'm not excited about it. I mean, I'm not going to shaft you of it. Also, these colors are very muted, but that's just the image. That's not the figure. I mean, this one is kind of to be expected. It's literally the same figure that we saw before with the Solid Edgeworks Gohan. Without the orange gi, you know, it's just the orange gi version. I mean, it's basically the same thing. Yeah, kind of unfortunate. And then, of course, the GX Materia Goku looks absolutely fantastic. I really, really like how this guy looks for sure. Ooh, this was one angle that we didn't get to see, though. That's really cool. Man, he looks so good. His face is literally perfect. It looks like it's ripped right out of the anime. That's awesome. Definitely excited about that guy for sure. Okay. This is another thing that obviously we were talking about before with the Gashapon thing. Here is the February DB item Gashapon 1. This is pretty cool, honestly, that they are doing these little Dragon Ball related items. I actually really like that. We, of course, have all of these different things from Dragon Ball, which is pretty cool. Definitely like all of these. It's kind of funny that they just put the power pole onto Quinto-un, though I don't know how they would have included the power pole otherwise. But that is pretty cool, and as you can see, there's even a little bit of detail in there for Frieza's pod, which is cool since it's so small. We have the February wafer stickers. Obviously, these are not figures, but I do like to just kind of go over these just because they're pretty cool. Oh, look at the Dragon Ball stuff. That's awesome. That's super sick. Very, very cool. And these are, I believe, like the voted ones of the most popular, if memory serves on those. We have all these gold ones for these different Super Saiyans. The Majin Vegeta and Super Saiyan 2 Goku ones look sick. And there are the different packs. Very, very cool. Okay, so this was very interesting. As you can see here, we have the upcoming release schedule for July, August, and September for Dragon Ball figures. Let's go ahead and take a look at these. By the way, literally nothing over here, so I'm just going to keep it scrolled here. It looks like a plushie of Majin Buu, which will be pretty cool. This, however, is very interesting. A Matchmaker's Oob and Goku. Very, very cool. I am really looking forward to this, because not only do we never, ever get Oob figures, I can't even tell you the last time. It was probably like 5-6 years ago that we got an Oob figure, I'd have to imagine. Nothing has released for Oob, I don't think, at least in the time that I've been collecting figures. Maybe like a mini figure, like a WCF figure or something like that. But Man, that's going to be super exciting to see. And that also means, hopefully, End of Z outfit Goku, which I think the only figure in recent time was the, Banpresto World Figure Coliseum one. So that'll be cool to get another outfit of that Goku. That's going to be really awesome to see. And y'all know I really like the Matchmakers line as well. So that will be really cool. I am really looking forward to seeing those two figures for sure. For DXF, we also have a Orange Piccolo coming out. That makes sense because obviously Piccolo has the base form and the Power Awakened, and Gohan also has Ultimate Super Saiyan, and we saw the Gohan Beast figure a couple of videos ago, so it makes sense that they're making an orange version of him. It's going to be interesting to see what that figure looks like. I will be curious to see how big it is too, because obviously they have only, basically just recolored the first two versions, and then with Gohan they changed them up a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see, and hopefully it is actually an original sculpt. I am praying that it is going to be something a little bit different than the Ichiban Kuji one, because I could absolutely see them doing the exact same pose. So hopefully that's not the case, even if he's just standing there or something like that when he first comes down, right? Or more like, I guess, comes up out of like the rubble. That would be pretty cool. We also have the Superhero Blood of Saiyans special. I believe that this is the one that was rescheduled. We'll take a look at Baggy's tweet in a second here, because there was one. Let's actually just check it right now. No. Okay, so actually no, unfortunately. But I know for a fact that there was a BOS Superhero figure that was planned, and then it got replaced by that Clear Eyes Trunks that we saw. So I guess they just pushed it back to this month. So it'll be interesting to see what that is, because, there's literally like no character associated with the name as far as we know here. And then the SH Figure Arts Gohan Beast that, we took a look at earlier in this video will also be releasing during July. I cannot believe we have to wait till July to get this, by the way. Again, I've talked about this in so many videos, but it's so silly to me that all of the merch for Superhero is coming out a year after the movie has released. I just don't get it. Anyway, moving on to August, we have the Dragon Ball Super Superhero History Box Volume 7. So it looks like the History Box line, which is a little bit of a smaller prize figure line, is going to be getting a superhero figure. That will be interesting to see. Obviously, this line is the one that brought us, let's see, what do we have? We have like a Spirit Bomb Goku from this, the Bye Guys Goku that unfortunately looks terrible, the more recent Kid Goku that actually looks pretty good. So it'll be interesting to see what they pick for this. Again, no character named here. And as well, another BOS figure with no name attached to it, just the number 15. So that'll be interesting to see what that is. This is pretty cool, however. GX Materia Master Roshi Kami-sen, as you can see there. That is really exciting, to be honest with you. I am really looking forward to that figure. Obviously, we don't get Master Roshi figures too often. Oh, that also reminds me of something. Well, we're going to see it later in the video anyway. But yeah, Master Roshi going to be getting a GX Materia figure. That'll be really cool. I'm really hoping it's Buff Roshi, because there are actually a couple figures out there of the regular sized Roshi. So that'll be sick if we get one of Buff Roshi. I mean, that would make the most sense for him doing the Kamehameha. Maybe it would be when he first does it and when he shows it off to Goku. That would be really cool. And interestingly enough, as you can see here, Superhero DXF Trunks, and I believe in September, yes, Superhero DXF Gohan. So that is really interesting that we are going to be getting some figures of these guys. I really hope they don't fumble these two. I'm praying that they don't fumble these two, because I don't know when we're ever going to get figures of these two in their superhero look, and the DXF figures have already been a huge miss in a lot of the departments already. The departments of being quality, paint job, sculpt, that sort of stuff. So I'm really hoping that these two turn out well. Again, kind of ridiculous that they're coming out a year after the movie, but I digress. There is also going to be another Solid Edgeworks figure in September, and another Superhero History Box figure. So that'll be interesting to see what those are. It's kind of interesting that they are back-to-back. I'm wondering if they're going to be connected in some way, or if it's just going to be two random characters from the movie. It will be interesting to see. Typically, those have sort of like a diorama around them. Those are the kind of figures that the History Box figures are. So we'll have to see what those end up being. But honestly, pretty exciting stuff, to be honest. Yeah, that is also kind of crazy, though, to think about that Baggy points out. There are no super figures that aren't related to superhero in this upcoming year, right, at all, even like before this point, which is kind of wild. And that tells you how much the DBS brand has kind of fallen off in Japan, which we talked about in a couple videos before, how a lot of the sales for the DBS figures specifically have sort of gone down. And they've even changed some of the marketing from some of the figures that are DBS figures to like DBZ and stuff like that. And even figures that were from Z had the Super marketing before, but they've gone back to the Z marketing because Super just isn't as profitable. But I mean, obviously it makes sense if they're going to make Super figures to make them from superhero, but still nothing, you know, like particularly, excuse me, from DBS. Kind of interesting. Yeah, very excited though for this to be shown. Very excited to see this stuff. Absolutely. Definitely going to look forward to that. Ironically enough, speaking of the DBS brand dying in Japan, the Solid Edgeworks Goku Black will be the last non-superhero related DBS figure released for at least another entire year. Honestly, kind of insane, to be honest with you. Obviously, with it off the air now, you know, there's nothing to kind of, you know, build up the hype for people. So, kind of wild, to be honest with you. I mean, to be fair, a lot of the fan favorite characters already have plenty of figures to their name. I mean, even the big man Goku Black himself has tons of great figures that you could already purchase. Like, I don't really think there's anything else for him. But it is kind of a shame because there are a lot of characters that still don't really have figures, right? Like Merge Zamasu and even Zamasu himself. To my knowledge, I think the only versions of those figures are either the WCF ones, like the minifigures, or the SH Figuarts versions of those characters. So it's kind of a shame that, honestly, they don't really have either Ichiban Kuji or Bam Presto figures. I mean, not to mention, we've talked about a bunch of times on this channel, rather, excuse me, that Kale and Caulifla also don't have figures to their name. And they don't even have SH Figuarts figures, now that I think about that, which is kind of crazy. They only have WCF figures. Kind of wild, to be honest with you, on that one. So, kind of unfortunate from that regard. Obviously, there's a lot of characters in there that I would love to get some more figures of, but I digress. It is what it is. This is also something that is pretty good news for us. The general public will be able to visit the prize fair, which will be pretty cool. So hopefully what that means is not as many photo bans if they have it open to the public, and hopefully that means maybe if it is photo banned, somebody will snag a picture of it. But we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening in that regard. More prize figure images. By the way, this is just an extra image of Trunks here. The lighting is really, really cool, I'm not going to lie. For the figures coming out in June, Goku is going to be 13 centimeters and Trunks will be 18. Very interesting to see that Trunks is going to be so much bigger than Goku, but to be fair, Goku is literally squatting down, and I think that that is also the size of the figure itself, not including the stand. So obviously we'll have to see how big he is with the stand, because I'd imagine he's going to be floating pretty high in the air. We got the highest quality production images for the June figures. Basically just a little bit of a better look at these figures, to be honest with you. Very cool though, definitely looking good, except for you, bozo. We have some high quality images of the boy Trunks. These are basically just better versions of the ones that we saw earlier in the video. This is also a kind of little interesting factoid here. They're still using Superheroes Overseas success to market the figures in Japan, which is kind of funny. So this is basically just Flatty. This is basically talking about, of course, the DXF Gohan here. And as you can see, right, the latest movie in the series, Dragon Ball Super Superhero, which was released on June 11th, was a hit all over the world and won first place in the United States and the world for the first time. Yeah, in the United States, the movie won. Not where this figure is selling in Japan. Kind of goofy, to be honest with you. This was also funny. I think this is just a little bit of an error on the GX Materia Goku production images, which are right here. As you can see, basically, these are just like the stylized ones that I do, I guess. Or they do, rather, excuse me. Or they kind of have like some kooky little background. Very cool that they're actually including the proper Dragon Ball logo. That mouth looks really weird, but I think that's just the angle that the camera is taken at. Because this looks fantastic. Yeah, also, very kind of interesting thing to note. That's definitely not correct. Oops! Anyhow, here is some more images of these guys. For anyone getting these guys, Goku can stand without a base, which is really cool. Because as you can see here, right, with the base on, Gohan would actually not be able to technically hit where he's supposed to hit on the figure. And, bada boom, you can see that it is the proper lineup for these guys. And it looks like Omocha Headchala has actually given us a good look at these figures right here, as he usually does with new figure releases. So yeah, Goku looks really good, definitely. I think he looks absolutely fantastic. I can't wait for the Super Saiyan Gohan, or Super Saiyan Goku, rather, honestly. It's still really weird to me that they split up these figures like this. Yeah, look at his face. It looks good. It's weird to me that they split them up because obviously they released the Super Saiyan Gohan first, and then they released the base form one, and then they released the base form Goku, right? Oh, okay, I guess they are both Super Saiyan when they fight in this scene, which is what this is literally based off of. Interesting. Huh. Well, I still think I'm going to go with my original plan anyway, just because I like the idea. Anyway, moving on from that, this was interesting. Apparently they're bringing the super mega stinky superhero Gashapons to the US, the great posing figures. If you guys remember, not only do these figures kind of stink in terms of the quality, I think Gamma 1 and 2 are honestly the only two that are like even remotely alright. Piccolo obviously has the super wacky antennas that are like super thick. Kind of gross looking, if I'm being honest with you. But he's there. We've talked about these guys before. I can't believe this person said they look like they're made from wax. There's no way they're official products. Gotta love Bandai, baby. And as you can see here, they're also going to be bringing over the superhero UDM Burst, which at least these figures are a little bit better quality, but they're still not much better. Obviously, these are like the production images, so you know they're a little bit better than like the in-person pictures taken of them. I would still definitely like to cop like Gohan and the Gammas from this, but obviously it is a little random thing. But these will probably be in like Hot Topic and Box Lunch and stuff like that, because that's typically where I see this sort of stuff at. So definitely will have to keep my eye out for those. And I know for a fact, yes, here. So this was a pretty cool piece of random information that sort of just popped up. As you can see here, coming up on June 10th, we're going to be having another Dragon Ball EX Ichiban Kuji, which is really cool. You guys remember from last year, we had the Ichiban Kuji set with Kid Goku. That's the one that also had the Pilaf gang. That's the one that had the Demon King Piccolo and the Mercenary Tao. Very, very cool that this set is coming out, bringing us another round of Dragon Ball stuff. Very, very excited about that. Very interesting that we're getting a bunch of Dragon Ball figures, like the Master Roshi for GX Materia, the Feet Kamehameha Goku. Very cool, if I do say so myself. Here is the information translated from that, by the way. Right, as you can see here, the EX series is doing great, apparently. The EX Android Fear was released in July 2022 and is doing great with a 92% digestion rate in 2 days, highly rated by users. Okay, interesting. Basically just giving a little bit of information about some Ichiban Kuji stuff. Again, this is just the information that was in this particular image there. Nonetheless, though, as you can see here, what they have been doing with this guy, we're actually going to look at it over on the official page, because Ichiban Kuji has been slowly tweeting out the figures that is going to be a part of this upcoming set here. I don't know why it won't let me translate tweet. Thank God I have this plugin here. As you can see, yeah, basically just talking about this new one. And there is going to be the prize A, which will be Kid Goku chilling on the Nimbus. A very, very nice figure. I love how pudgy Goku's face is because that's very accurate to how it looks in Dragon Ball. I like that a lot. And as you can see here, the last one prize figure is going to be Goku in the blue gi. Basically, the same figure, just with the eyes changed a little bit. I always much prefer when they do an alternate color for the last one prize of an Ichiban Kuji, because then it usually makes the figure a little bit less hard to come by and rare and whatnot. However, when it comes to this particular instance, this one might be a little bit different because people in Japan go crazy for Dragon Ball figures, and obviously this is an outfit that we don't get as much for Goku. And not to mention, people really like this outfit. In fact, I have the Banpresto Goku riding Nimbus figure. I forget the actual name of it off the top of my head, and I have the one where he's in the orange gi, but I kind of regret not getting the one where he's in the blue gi because low-key that one is iconic to Dragon Ball. So it is a little bit unfortunate actually that the last one prize is going to be that one. Yeah, very unfortunate. So it's all right though. Which I will say, though, my man does make a good point here. Funny enough, this is actually the Kid Goku figure I was talking about. They actually bothered to change the obi between the versions. Last time they changed the gi from blue to orange and didn't bother to change the obi and just removed the kanji. Yeah, so as you can see here, they are sculpted just a tiny bit, and with the obi belt around his almost said neck. That's not incorrect. Sorry, I think I need to take a break, bro. Around his waist, rather, you can see that it is the one that is more iconic with the orange gi, where it's sort of just the two flaps down, but an actual little bow tie on this one, because this is literally the figure I was talking about. As you can see here, they didn't really change it to a bow tie for this one. They just changed the color and removed the sticker, which actually was sculpted in at that time because the figures were more quality. And they called it a day, right? Which I actually kind of regret not getting the blue version because I have the orange one and I love it. And I would have definitely, you know, now that I've watched, because at the time when I bought this figure, I don't think I had watched Dragon Ball, which I know is criminal. But now that I've watched into it, I would have kind of preferred the blue one looking back. But maybe I'll go ahead and cop it at some point. However, as unfortunate as it is, I am sure that this figure is going to cost quite a pretty penny, and not to mention it'll cost quite a bit to import this guy as well, I'm sure, you know, because of course it'll be this outfit for Goku, and we do not get outfits with him. In fact, I'm venture to guess that this was actually the last figure that we got of him, and I think this figure came out like, oh my gosh, like what, 4 years ago now? Something like that. So that guy is probably going to be pretty expensive. And as well, I do know that they also announced, if we scroll up a little bit, the only other figure that they've announced from this set at the moment is Master Roshi, which is pretty cool. Let's give a quick translation to this one because I want to know about the alternate headpiece there. Let's see. Prize B, trademark mustache, sunglasses, turtle shell. Okay, so the sunglasses are removable. So that's how this works. So it will be this figure right here with Roshi waving. And then you will also be able to attach the glasses to his face. Kind of interesting how much the glasses change his facial expression. Like, it almost looks like a completely different figure, weirdly enough, but it's just the eyes, right? Because obviously you can just put the glass on there. I'm shocked considering Bandai's modern day decisions when it comes to changing minimal things and then charging your entire, you know, whole nother figure price like they did for the LO Frieza, where, you know, it's literally just a different, you know, a different hand, and then they change the entire, or they charge the figure for an entirely different figure. But this is cool. I'm definitely pretty excited for this guy. This person is mentioning strongest chains. I just want to see what they're talking about here. Wonder if strong chains. Oh, yeah, okay. So they were talking about how that figure was really good. Funny enough, it's literally on my desk. I know you can't see it, but under the figure that we have on screen right now, I literally have the Jackie Chun head on Master Roshi right now. And that figure was fantastic. I really like that one, where you could actually change a bunch of the heads on him there. The Jackie Chun head and then the Roshi with glasses, and you could take the glasses off. So this is pretty cool. I don't have a Master Roshi in this particular outfit yet, and I know I definitely wanted to get that Ben Presto series where they're all kind of standing there at some point, but this would definitely be a cool figure to get as well. I may have to look into getting this guy for sure, but he looks really good, if I do say so myself. I'll be excited to see how the back of the turtle shell looks as well. Even his staff looks really nicely sculpted, to be honest with you. Like, everything about this guy looks great. It's very Dragon Ball-esque as well in the way that he looks, right? He looks very like cartoonish and animated. I don't know if that's the correct way to describe it, but I think you understand what I mean when I say that, you know, in the way that his like edges are very rounded. You know, he looks very cartoony, which is perfect because obviously that's sort of that Dragon Ball style a lot more. So that's pretty cool. And unfortunately, we actually haven't gotten any other figure announced because this one was announced today at 3 a.m. It seems like they are announcing them once a day, because if we go back here to Goku, Goku was announced on the 3rd. So by the time this video goes up, because I am recording this a day in advance, it will probably have another figure posted on this account. So I will leave a link to the official Ichiban Kuji account in the description with the other links. So, of course, if you want to go take a look at that and keep an eye out to see what the new figures are going to be for that set, definitely do that. And I will cover them in the next figure news video, of course. But, you know, I just want to let you know because obviously I record these videos a day in advance most of the time. Anyway, moving back. This is kind of an unfortunate piece of information. No May Dragon Ball Gashapon listed. So as of right now, the February Gashapon items is currently the only Gashapon release this year up to the halfway point of the year, which is crazy. Back in 2018 to 2019, there used to be 2 to 3 Dragon Ball Gashapon releases a month. And now, as you can see, there's literally like one a year potentially for this one. So kind of insane, to be honest with you, that is the case, right? Because obviously, you know, it used to be so prevalent, but I suppose that makes sense with the way that Dragon Ball has been going in terms of merch. And it doesn't help that they marketed this as Dragon Ball Super, even though it doesn't make sense because, you know, this is Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, like the Cell, Shell, and Frieza pod. Very interesting on that one. However, we do have some more images of Goku here. Yeah, I think his mouth just looks a little weird because it's open on the side there. I still really want to know how the stand is going to work. None of these images have the stand. Oh, that face looks so good, dude. Oh, man, look at the detail and the little scratches all over his body, which is perfect because obviously in this scene he has taken a ton of damage from the battle. That is really, really cool. The Kamehameha effect also looks very nice too. Yeah, so 1 week away from the prize fair from the 3rd. Hopefully not a lot of photo bans. Yeah, we'll have to see what ends up becoming of this. It would be cool if it's this actual specific art from Dokkan that would be Goku versus Oob. I would definitely be down for that for sure. Or something else, because this is pretty similar to the Ritsuden Gohan. But yeah. Orange Piccolo, like I said, I'm kind of hoping it's not this pose, to be honest, only because obviously the Ichiban Kuji one has this pose. It would be awesome if this was actually like just say for that one, and then they had right when he's coming out of the rubble, right when he transforms as the DXF one, and that would kind of make sense considering how the Gohan ended up looking. So hopefully that's the case. I wouldn't mind as well, because that would also just be a cheaper option for this particular pose for Piccolo, you know, rather than getting the Ichiban Kuji one. But obviously I just want more variety in the figures. Just a little piece of information to add in here for you. I think it's safe to say that the Zenkai Solid line has officially bit the dust. Unfortunately, I think Baggy's right on this one. As soon as it was revealed to be a only Goku line, it was gonna flop because obviously we have so many Goku figures in the modern day that there is really not a need for any more. Obviously, he'll always get them, but of course, when it comes to Super Saiyan base form and MUI, there are plenty, and not to mention the only really underrepresented stuff is Dragon Ball, which I'm glad we're getting some of that because we talked about that in this video. But UI Goku was one of the lowest ordered Dragon Ball prize figures ever. And it was that low. I would generally be surprised if we ever see a UI Goku figure again, which kind of seems sad, but at the same time, I promise you, there are so many good options for his like form, right? We don't need any more. I promise you, right? I can tell you firsthand, there are like 5 off the top of my head that I can name for you. Are good. By the way, we do have some in-person pictures of Piccolo here, as you can see. At Bam Presto Lab, they took a picture of these. If you are unfamiliar, Bam Presto Lab is this little thing that they have in Japan where you can go in there and check out upcoming prize figures. And let's see what we got. Can't wait to see the real thing with my own eyes when it comes to... Okay, so yeah, so Varrock's Piccolo is impeccable. It is a little bit unfortunate to see that the effect piece seems like it doesn't line up unless this is something incorrect. There's no way that they've messed that up, right? Because that would not be Varrock's doing, because obviously the production of the stand is something different. Let's actually scroll up a little bit because we have some more images of him from Bam Presto Lab here. Yeah, as you can see, looks great. It's funny the whole line's gimmick is the effects, but the modeling is that good that the effects just seem more of a nuisance. Yeah. What did this person say? Interesting. Oh, I see. So it looks like it's just... Okay, so the person who set this up just didn't set it up correctly. Because they put the beam effect straight next to Piccolo rather than tilting it, right? Because as you can see here in these images, it looks perfectly lined up. But if we look at it from the side, the beam effect is actually tilted on the stand. Okay, so that makes more sense, right? It's just that the person who set this up at Bam Presto Lab didn't actually set it up correctly. I guess that actually does make sense because it looks like strange from this angle. But if we look at it here, you can see that there's not enough space in this little bubble that they display the figures, right? You can see that the effect piece is so long that it would be basically banging against the glass here, and it won't actually fit with Piccolo there. So that's why it looks like that. Okay, I was going to say, there's no way. Listen, Bandai's bad, but like it can't be that bad that they messed it up, right? Nonetheless, though, Piccolo looks fantastic. I really like this angle for him. Whew! That is flames. I am not going to lie. He looks absolutely fantastic. I cannot wait to get my hands on this guy. Obviously, it'll be cool to see some more in-person pictures as well when you don't have all the funky lights on it. Unfortunately, that's just because it's in this little glass, you know, enclosure that it looks like that. But yeah, Piccolo looks fantastic. The sculpting on his face looks really good. The sculpt on the actual arms and his body looks fantastic. I think this figure is shaping up to be a very, very good one for sure. And it looks like we have actually reached the end of Baggy's timeline, as the last tweet that we just looked at was the last tweet from Dragon Ball related content. We basically just have Miriko and talking about some Digimon stuff here. So let me know what you guys thought of everything that we covered in this video. Definitely some good, some bad. I am very excited to see those upcoming prize figures, especially Boo and Oob. I can't say Goku, apparently. Goku and Oob. I'm really excited to see the both of them because obviously that is some figures that we really do not get that often. So that is pretty exciting that we'll be getting both of them represented in figure form. Definitely go pre-order the boy Gohan Beast if you have not done so yet, if you are interested in the figure, as it is only a limited time pre-order, because once he's gone, he's going to be gone forever. But thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think of everything in the comment section below. Again, keep in mind this account, right? Sorry, I didn't mean to open any tab there. We'll be posting the Dragon Ball Ichiban Kuji figures every day until the set has obviously been fully shown. So definitely keep your eyes on this account. Of course, I'll leave a link in the description because by the time this video goes up, the next figure will definitely have been shown. So it'll be interesting to see what it is. And again, I'll cover it in the next video too. But yeah, very, very good stuff. I will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Dokkan Assets out. Peace.